Hello, this is Guy Grant, your Spring Hill, Florida realtor, coming to you today to hopefully clarify some of the headlines that you are seeing in the news about real estate. One of the ones that we're seeing is that foreclosures rose by 124%. And boy, everybody wants you to think that the sky is falling, but it's really not, and here's why. This graph is really neat. It shows on the blue line is the number of mortgages that are in serious delinquency. And then this orange line is the unemployment rate over time where it was. And you can see in 2008, there were a lot of people that were sold houses that did not have savings, they didn't have good credit, they really weren't good candidates for home ownership. And as soon as they lost their job, when the unemployment rate hit 10%, so did the foreclosure rate. And as the unemployment rate came down, all those foreclosures got worked through, everything started going pretty good, and then COVID hit. Now, the big difference was back here, this was bailout time. The banks were getting bailed out by the federal government, and they wanted to crank through the foreclosures. They didn't care how much money they lost because Uncle Sam was going to reimburse them. The difference now is that Uncle Sam is telling the banks, work something out, do a loan modification with these people. They've passed legislation and they put in a lot of pressure on the banks to not foreclose on people that got behind during COVID. So the result is that people who are in serious delinquency is at an all-time low here at 3.45%. But you say, how can that be? Foreclosures are up 124%. Well, let's look at the historic perspective on this. This is foreclosure data from the 10 years from 2007 to 2016, basically the aftermath of the bubble bursting. And in Florida, you can see that December of 2010 was the worst month. And at that time, there were 394,000 houses in foreclosure. Let's see. And how much is there now? 17,600. Do that again. 394,000 versus 17,600, yet somehow it's up 124%. That's because there was a foreclosure moratorium that has now been lifted, and so they're starting to go back through. But they're working things out with people rather than foreclosing on them. So the sky is not falling. Chicken Little's going to be okay. And when you look at this data over 10 years, there was 960,000 houses foreclosed on. So divide that by 10, 96,000 per year, and we're still at 17. So even if it doubles again, we're still doing pretty well. And if you look at this, whenever you're at an all-time low, it probably is going to go back up a little bit. But we're not going to get back up here to 10% unemployment, and the banks have a different attitude now about trying to work out things with people who fell behind. So that's what I wanted to bring you today. Hope that was helpful, and I'll talk to you next time.